Do you find yourself waking up at the same time every night? Like you fall asleep easily and then all of a sudden you wake up, it's like 3 a.m. and it's the same repeating pattern every night. When we fall asleep easily and we wake up, it can be really frustrating, especially if we don't understand the reason why we're waking up. Because other people, they might struggle with falling asleep, but once they're asleep, they're in for that 7.5 hours of beautiful sleep. It just takes them a long time to fall asleep. Well, the opposite of that, when we fall asleep easily and then we wake up, can be very frustrating as well. So today I really wanted to talk about the sleep science behind why we might be waking up and what we can do to get ourselves back to sleep. And a lot of times it's just understanding what's happening within our body and our sleep system to be able to make sense of it. So my name is Carol Richard. I'm the founder of the Sleep Success Academy, where we help sleep deprived individuals get the sleep they need so they can live the life they're meant to live without being so tired and just cranky, because I know when I don't sleep, I get cranky. So if you would like a copy of my free guide, Journey to Better Sleep, 5 action steps to improve the quality of your sleep, go to my website, sleepsuccessacademy.com. On the homepage, scroll about halfway through, and you will see where you can put your name and email address and get a copy of your free guide. It will also subscribe you to my email list. So then you will get a notification in your email every week when I release a new YouTube video. All right, so why could I be waking up through the night? So I really want to be transparent here and tell you that this is just one reason. There could be more reasons. And I just want to explore one, because when we look at the sleep cycle and the sleep stages and how it works, it makes sense to me because we have lighter sleep. After about 5 hours of sleep, we really get into the lighter part of our sleep. And that is when we tend to wake up more for some of us. Other people, they'll wake up every hour, hour and a half, and that's because they're just switching from one sleep cycle to the next, and they're not understanding this. And because we're having lighter sleep, we think, oh my God, there's something wrong with me that I can't sleep. And that's not the case at all. It's just that our body is doing what it does. And because we're in a lighter stage of sleep, we're waking up and then our mind kicks in. And that is what is really keeping us awake, is our mind, is not the fact that our body woke up. So, okay, so what's a sleep cycle? I'll start with sleep cycle. So a sleep cycle lasts approximately 90 minutes. And during this cycle, we have 4 stages of sleep. So the first stage, and I like to do it kind of in a circle. That's just how I like to explain things. I'm a visual person. So as we fall asleep, we're getting into stage 1. It lasts about 1 to 4 minutes. Some websites will even say 10 minutes, but it's just very quick, like we're falling asleep. Now, if you struggle with falling asleep, you'll say, I'm in stage 1 forever. Well, you're not really in stage 1. You're still awake, because stage 1 is just like that falling asleep moment. That's about a minute. Once we do stage 1, we get into stage 2, which is very light sleep. It doesn't really have any benefits. It's just a light stage of sleep. That brings us into stage 3. Stage 3 is our deep sleep. And this is where our physical body restores itself, right? Our cells regenerate. We boost the immune system in our body. Like, that's a really good stage to be in. And stage 3 happens more in the beginning of the night. So in a sleep cycle, our stage 3 is bigger in the beginning of the night than it is at the end of the night. And once we're done with stage 3, we go into REM sleep. And our REM sleep is where we dream. There's science too that says you can dream both in deep sleep and in REM sleep, but the REM sleep dreams are the ones we tend to remember more, and they're more vivid. REM sleep is also a lighter stage of sleep, is where our mental restoration happens. So REM sleep is good, but we have less amount of REM sleep in the beginning sleep cycle. So me, I sleep 7.5 hours. So I know I have 5 of these stages, 5 of these cycles, in my 7.5 hours of sleep. So my first 2 or 3 are really high in deep sleep, and my last 2 are higher in REM sleep, which is lighter sleep. And so say I go to bed at 9 and I wake up around, say, 2, so that's 5 hours. 5 hours is roughly 3 sleep cycles, roughly, because they say approximately 90 minutes. And then so I wake up and all of a sudden I need to use the washroom, or I just start thinking about something. If I'm in the lighter stage of sleep, it's going to be harder for me to get myself back to sleep. However, it's possible. Once we know that it's normal for our body to wake up through the night. Dr. Jacob, something, I can't remember his last name right now, wrote a Sleep, Say Goodbye to Insomnia. And in that book, he does explain that it's normal to wake up 5 or 6 times through the night. I also have a YouTube video on that with all the information. And so most of us just don't know that we've woken up because we're having such a good sleep. And it's just we don't remember in the morning. And a lot of us will say, oh, yeah, I just woke up and turned over, went back to sleep. But when we identify as a bad sleeper or a poor sleeper, and we have the belief that once I'm awake, that's it, I'll never get back to sleep, then that belief kicks in and we have a harder time falling asleep. So the reasons, I just kind of want to recap, it could be that we're in lighter sleep at the time that we're waking up, then our brain kicks in, and then we have a belief that, oh my God, now that I'm awake, I won't be able to go back to sleep. So that could be one of the reasons why you keep waking up at 3 a.m. It's a pattern that's ingrained in your brain and your body, and because you're in lighter stage of sleep. So what can we do about it? I love what we can do about it because it's good to explain it, and that in itself helps to break down the belief. But now what do we do about it? So I always say to people, if you're waking up through the night, assess what's going on. Because you could be the stress of the day that just came into your mind, and that's what has woken your mind up. Your body did what it does, and then all of a sudden the stress of like a big project due at work, or if you're in school or your kids are in school, and there's just so much going on with the world right now. That is the stress that then keeps us awake. It could be financial stress, it could be health stress. And so having to do some work around that during the day so that it doesn't wake you up at night. But what if you've woken up and it's too late? I always go, okay, if you're going to be like 5 minutes and you can just, I'm going to talk about tapping because tapping is my thing. You can just kind of imagine tapping. So what tapping is, if you don't know, there's also a video on what is tapping and how it can help you with your sleep. But as we imagine tapping on the meridian, the endpoints of the meridian line in your body, it just helps calm you down. And I like to do this closing, of course, I'm in bed, close my eyes, and just imagine tapping the top of my head and counting to 7, tapping my eyebrow, counting to 7, tapping the side of my eye, counting to 7. And this is all just imagination. And so between imagining the points that help calm down the amygdala and the consistency of tapping to 7 puts me right back to sleep. Why 7? I have no idea, except that's the number that always popped into my mind. You could do 3, you could do 10, it would work the same. But if that doesn't work, then I look deeper at why I'm awake. Because if I'm going to be awake for more than 10 to 15 minutes, I want to get out of bed. This is so hard to do. I struggle with this one myself. If I am awake for whatever reason, and it's going to be, and I know I'm not going to fall asleep quickly, I need to get out of bed. And what I keep telling myself is that I know that I can get out of bed, go on the couch, start tapping, rest my mind, maybe jot down things that I don't want to forget in the morning, because maybe I'm awake because I just had this brilliant idea, or I remembered something I didn't do yesterday and I want to go write it down so that my mind doesn't fight with itself to try to keep reminding me of it all night and keeping me awake. So get out of bed, go write it down. If that's all it takes, then get back to bed, do the imaginary tapping, go back to sleep. Sometimes that's not enough. And I found myself last week, I was traveling and just meeting a lot of people and being out of my element. And at night, I would be processing everything we talked about. And so I would go to sleep for about 3 hours because I usually wake up. My pattern is after 2 sleep cycles, I'll wake up. And I found my mind just kicking in, and I found myself getting out of bed, and it wasn't even home. So it was like trying to be quiet and just sitting on the couch and having a conversation with my mind saying, we don't have to process this information at night. I wrote down notes and then I started tapping on just, I'm tired. I'm frustrated that I can't sleep. I really need my sleep. And I have videos on that too. So just go like scroll my YouTube channel, find something. And once I found myself calming down again, then I went back to bed. And the reason we don't want to lay in bed is we don't want to create that negative sleep association that the bed is a place and it's okay to sit and worry and think, because then your mind will create that pattern and will keep you awake at night. So those are some ways that you can help yourself back to sleep. So just to recap, it's normal to wake up through the night. Most of us just don't know that we do it. If we have a pattern of waking up at 3 a.m., it could be because we're in a lighter sleep of stage. Something else that just popped into my mind that I want to share. When I get there, I go, oh, I've had my good sleep already. And my mindset is like, now this is bonus sleep. So I'll go back to sleep and I'll be fine. And once you start thinking that way, as opposed to my old way of thinking that, oh my God, I'm awake and I'm done, it really makes it easier to fall asleep, because then we don't create all these emotions, frustration, anxiety, fear, that then keeps us awake. And then once you know why you're waking up, maybe checking in with, what was it today that causes me the stress that I'm awake, doing some tapping on it and getting yourself back to sleep, knowing that tomorrow night you get to go back to bed and start fresh again. So that's it for today. I hope you found this video useful. My intention with these videos is to just give you some hope that you'll be able to sleep again, because it's possible. I went from like no sleep for years, where I lost a sensation in my hands and feet and felt like so hopeless and defeated, thinking my body would never learn how to sleep again, to sleeping well 90 to 95% of the time. Because it's not, in my mind, and maybe this is just a belief, it's not possible to have 100% good sleep, because life happens. But if we have 90 to 95%, even 80% good sleep, our body has enough sleep to be able to function at its best. So any questions, just reach out. Don't hesitate to go on my website, Sleep Success Academy, get your free guide. Also, if you want to talk to a sleep coach, just go on there, book an optimal sleep assessment with me, and we'll get you on your journey to better sleep. That's it. Bye.